Welcome back. Today we are going to look into drawing window UI in the HUD. If you watched the last video, you saw that we kind of had that inventory there with that grid, but it looked really weird just floating over nothing. So we're gonna draw a nice window UI, and we're gonna talk about that a little bit. To be able to do this, we need to update to 2019-0702. This has some fixes for the window drawing system. So, as we always do, I've downloaded it here. We're going to go into our plugins folder, delete our OWS plugin, and then we're going to grab this one. Plugins. Right-clicking, copy, and paste. What I added in this is I added a feature that when you draw the window UI, it outputs where the final location was, so that you can then start drawing child things underneath that, which in our case is going to be our inventory UI. So let's open it up. Up. There's something we didn't do. Closing that. Oh, didn't get it in time. Okay, there's one more thing we need to do. There will be a link to this file here. Let's make an MMO window UI. Thanks to Rindall for creating these for me for this tutorial. But we're going to extract this. Let's see. We're going to create a folder called window UI. And we are going to go in here. Just copying those, Control-C, Control-V to extract them. And let's take a quick look at what these are. So I've got these different pieces. If you look really closely, you can see that there's a border down here in like a yellowish orange color, and then there's this dark gray. Okay, so that's kind of our bottom piece. And then, let's see. The way that it's assembling these is, see, it's then going to put this piece like this, and it's going to put this piece like this, and then we'll grab the right border. If you look closely, it's really hard to see here. You can see it has that, and then over here is the dark gray again. So it's going to put this like this. You see how these are connecting together to kind of create like a window border? And then there's this window background, which is just 1 pixel of the color. See here? And that's going to get put in the center. So this is how it's going to build it. And you can actually go and create your own files to get your own look. We're going to use this one here. Okay, let's open the project up again. And that link will be in the YouTube description. So you'll grab the link to that file from there. Okay, let's go create a folder to import those two. Go under HUD, and we'll do a new folder, window UI, and we're going to import. Yeah, that's where I imported it from when I was testing. And we're going to grab all of them. Hit save. We're going to go into each one of these, and we're going to set it to user interface 2D and texture group UI. We're going to go do that to each of these. We're not going to be using this button here, but we'll set it anyway. Maybe we will in the future. Setting these correctly is going to tell UE4 how to manage these. You got your compression setting and your texture group. And no MIP maps. Don't need to generate those. Probably work fine if you didn't do this, but it will probably waste memory. And potentially in some cases your quality may be compromised. I believe the compression here is going to deal with colors. And yeah, sRGB. Okay, cool. I think that's right. We'll set all those up. And then I'll show you where we use them. Okay, good. In our HUD, so we're going to come back down to third-person BV blueprints. So we're going to our HUD. And over here, we've got the spot to use them all. So window border top, let's try searching for top border. You can see the path is in the right folder. Left border, right border, bottom border. I think top left is UL for upper left. Yep. And top right is a UR for upper right. There it is. And bottom, I think, is lower left. There we go. I should put some kind of prefix on these to make them easier to find. Lower right, bottom right, and we need our window background. There we go. And we're not using those, that's for something else. Okay, so now that we've got those set up, remember we had this render interactive inventory grid, and we talked a little bit about this anchor point. And I had said before that they might not all be working. Well, with the 7.2 update, they are all working. So we're going to pull this over and make ourselves some more room. We're going to add draw window. And as I said here, there's that XY output. So what we're able to do is we're able to basically grab these, add some offset, go with 40. Some offset, 40 for the Y as well. I think these were right. And so now what will happen is that you want to make sure this child one is always on top left for anchor point, because this is always the top left. That's always where it's at. And so now what we have here is we have this screen. I'm going to connect the X and the Y here. And to start with, I'm just going to go set these to 0 for illustrative purposes. So I'm setting inventory X and inventory Y to 0. So now we have this screen anchor point and UI anchor point. So the idea with a screen anchor point is that we have top left, which is here. We have top center, which is here. We have top right, which is here. We have middle left, middle center, middle right. And then we have bottom left, bottom center, bottom right. Okay? So that sets the screen anchor point. But then you also can set the UI anchor point. So let's say that this window is the UI anchor point, right? Again, you have top left, top center, top right. So if we say screen anchor point top left, UI anchor point top left, it takes this top left and matches it to this top left, which is actually the only valid one. There is some code in there that says if you push the draw point off screen, just default it to 0, 0. So keep that in mind if you're like, why is it drawing something that's not top left to 0, 0? It's because there's safety code, so it won't crash when it tries to draw off screen. And so, but let's say you did top center, okay? So now if you did top center, top left, and this is the center, it would actually take the left and put it to the center and draw this way. So if you actually wanted it in the true center, you'd have to do top center, center, which would take the center of this and line it up to the center. Make sense? Okay. Let's start with it here, top left, top left. Work on getting this set right. Got all that there. And so let's give it a try. Hit play. And we're going to hit the I key. Okay. It did not do what we wanted. Okay, it drew one of them, but it did not draw any of the others. Let's take a look. It's because we had no width or height. Aha. Let me show you how to calculate this, actually, because that's not the right value. So we're going to get our calculator. Yeah, way too big. Okay, so we know that this is 4 by 4, okay, and that they're 32. So we can do 4 times 32 gets us to 128. But then we also have spacing of 2 here, which will be, if there's 4, there's 3 in between. So that's another 6 plus 6, 134. And then we're trying to use a 40, that may actually be too big, but we'll try it to be 40 around the edge. That's going to be an additional 80. So we're going to go with 214. Oops, 214. And let's give that a try. And there we go. An interesting point here, I think I made this in the last video, but HUD always draws under UMG. So because the UMG is just, it's not part of the main game loop, it's just added on at the end as an overlay. And so there's no way to make the HUD draw on top of the UMG. So that's why it's drawing underneath the UMG there. Okay, let's go and I'm thinking I kind of want to move it over here. I feel like that's a good spot. Eventually we're going to want our party menu here, a nameplate up here for maybe the mob we have targeted. So let's put our inventory over here. So we're going to go here and let's do middle right and middle right. And there we go. Now we've got, it took the middle right of this and put it to the middle right of the screen. We're going to end up replacing this here with this kind of look as well. Let's move it down a little bit. So let's change it for middle right. That's good on screen point anchor, but let's do this as top right. So now that'll take the top right and put it to the middle and should offset it down. Oh yeah, much better. And now we want to have an offset, because that's too close to the edge there. Let's try 20. So rather than being a positive offset from the direction it was, I decided to keep it simple and make it so that it's always, plus is always to the right and down. So in this case, we want to go to the left, so we're going to have to put a minus 20 on our inventory X. This X and Y here is actually the offset from whatever that point is. So we're going to go into our inventory X and do minus 20. And there we go. Now I have a negative 20 offset, and this top right corner is connected to the middle center. It may not look like it because with all this stuff on the screen it can make you think that it's not, but that actually is the middle center point there. Earlier when I was doing it on the actual center up here, because of this and the fact that the character's off screen, the center is actually right about here, but it looked like it was drawn too far to the right. I'm like, that's not the actual center. And I grabbed out a measuring tape and measured it, and it was the actual center. Just an optical illusion based on where you place things. Let's go full screen here with F11, just see what this looks like. Yeah, there we go. I like it. Okay, I think in the next video we are going to work on adding a pickup. So what I'm leaning toward right now is that when mobs die, they drop a chest. I know that's weird, but whatever. It's for this game demo. I'm trying to make things easy for the tutorial. They drop a chest, and then when you interact with that chest, it opens something that looks like our inventory, and then you can drag stuff, from it to your inventory. That's what I'm leaning toward right now. I think that'd be cool. So I think in the next video we'll work on. I guess we don't actually have to create a pickup that we run into if we do that. So maybe I was thinking we were going to create a pickup that we collide with, but we don't really need to do that because of that. So I think in the next video we're going to work on creating this this loot chest when we kill a mob, and probably won't do the killing the mob thing next time. We'll just spawn some loot chest here and figure out how to decide what loot is in it, and then these inventories already support, like if I had another inventory right here, I can already support dragging between them. So that's what we're going to look into in the next video. Until next time, see ya.